ago was 36. 2 years ago? Damn, 10. Dude, that's crazy. All right, guys, welcome to episode 57 of the Bearzi podcast. Today we have my friend Winny from the Mine Now YouTube channel, who is happy enough to come on the pod. And Winny is a third-time guest. He was last on episode 36 and episode 10, so an original guest on the podcast. So thanks for coming on, Winnie. How you doing?
OG. Good, man. No, I'm doing good, man. Fantastic. And just wanna add something to what you just said there. I will probably be on your podcast for quite some time. I'm always glad to be on your podcast and to talk with you, because and I even said this before we recorded, that the conversation that we have is just buttery smooth. And so, yeah, and it's always nice to see like how we progress. Yeah, so it's interesting to see that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why I like catching up every year or so. You can kind of see the progression that each of us has made, especially with when it comes to YouTube and content creation stuff, and even just our own personal growth. Like when I look back at when, let's say 2021, when I was just starting the podcast off, I had no idea what I was doing, right? And then we're just having like a cool conversation, and it sort of just flows, and it's fun, right? This is what people don't understand about podcasts. It's not, for me, it doesn't feel like work. Just having conversations with people, it's a lot of fun because not only do I learn things, but we can have these thoughts come up that I never would have think of on my own, right? And that's what I love about this kind of stuff.
Yeah, man. And it's also like it's not with everyone where you can have like this kind of conversation, where it's like, even though I've never met you in person, I know that I would get along with you. It's just, I don't know, I just have that feeling, and there are not many of these people. That's why I said I'm glad to always be on your podcast. Anyway, just wanted to
Mm-hmm.
add that again.
Yeah, and also I guess we should, a little caveat here is that one of the main reasons why I wanted to have you back on is to promote your YouTube channel, because there was a while where you were sort of like, I don't know if you want to call it a hiatus or a break, but recently you started posting long form content again. So how did that come about? Like what was going on with your channel right now?
Yes, so I'm going to tell you why I actually stopped, and I even mentioned this in the podcast, the previous podcast with us, which is I briefly mentioned Andrew Huberman, right? And I really fell in love with him. Whoa, that sounded wrong. I mean, his his topics, and I got very passionate about like what he was talking about, like the science behind it, and just like the terms and everything. And like, in, I think, around August or something, I said to myself, you know what, I just want to memorize his stuff. And I made this goal of like, at the end of the year of 2022, I'm going to memorize like 30 topics of his. And and I achieved that even more. And so I thought, like, you know what? I'm just gonna memorize all of his topics, and that's what I did. Like, okay, there are around five to six topics that I didn't memorize, but the rest I did, and it took me 10 months. And yeah, I just actually um, achieved it on the 22nd. No, when was it? I wrote it down a moment. When was it? Yeah, 22nd of July. So like last week. And this is like a huge accomplishment. And the reason why I didn't make videos is because I just literally dedicated all of the time for this. It was kind of like my quote unquote side college, so to
Mm.
speak. Um, and yeah, I know, like, out of everything, this is like one of those things that I'm really, really proud of. Um, and yeah, and then I was like, now it's time to make videos again. So now I'm back. I mean, I made shorts, but I know I just wanted to prioritize on Andrew Huberman stuff. Hence why I, you know, didn't make long form content on YouTube.
Hmm. Yeah, so for anyone that doesn't know, Andrew Huberman is like the go-to guy right now for science-based information when it comes to health, fitness, longevity, or pretty much just anything about the human body and vitality. I am a big Andrew Huberman fan too, but definitely not clearly as much as you are. But what was it that really got you into Huberman? Was it like the health stuff, the fitness, the longevity? Like what got you into him?
Um, yeah, just neuroscience, I suppose. Like the system behind it and the terms that I had to like memorize. It was very it felt like really I know I felt happy when I memorized all of those things, you know, and knowing the system behind things like that, it's very useful for me. And I thought like it kind of aligns with mine now as well, you know, like the information that Andrew preaches or like yeah talks about. And yeah, I mean, I've always been kind of fascinated by psychology, um, and neuroscience is kind of it kind of combines together, you know. Whereas like neuroscience is more of the system, and psychology is kind of like the philosophy. That's how I see it. Um, yeah, so I guess like because of my passion for psychology, I also like neuroscience, I suppose. Yeah.
Wow, that requires dedication because neuroscience to me that sounds dry and boring. I was like, oh man, neuroscience. Like my interest, it comes from like a health standpoint because what I really liked about Andrew Huberman's stuff is not that he would talk about scientific terminology, he would explain how it works. So whenever he would talk about, let's say, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, or endorphins, for example. Like I know what those words are, I sort of know what they do, but then he kind of explains it neurologically like, oh, hey, when you get a dopamine hit, this receptor in your brain goes off, and this is why you get so happy when you're at the casino and you're betting some money. Like he explains the wheels that are turning in behind the scenes, right? And I kind of get an understanding of how the human body works, but also like the health stuff. I really enjoy when he's talking about maybe it's intermittent fasting, maybe it's cold water therapy, sauna use. I know he's big on getting daylight exposure first thing in the morning, like when you wake up, go for a run, get some sun on your skin. Like he has this whole routine and regiment to him that I kind of appreciate, but I sort of just pick and choose kind of like the topics that I find beneficial. And then I'm very selective with his information because I get overwhelmed. It's almost as if that guy is an encyclopedia. He knows too much stuff, right? And it's so hard to disseminate what is useful, what don't I need, and I just get overloaded whenever I listen to that guy. So I just kind of pick the things that I need and then I just kind of run with it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, totally makes sense. I know. I got really nerdy about it. You know, I would literally just memorize those terms, and knowing those terms makes me like so happy somehow. You know, but I totally get like your perspective that it is quite overwhelming when he like you know says all of these nomenclatures, and you're like, okay, how like how is this important? Yeah. But I don't know, like when I guess like when you are really passionate about it, like I am, then it just makes sense to know those terms, you know, only for the nerdy and geeky ones, but for the general public that you know just wants the most useful information, it's not really that important. Um, yeah,
Hmm.
so. But I was thinking like maybe you know if I make video, I'm not even quite 100% sure whether I will use all of the information that I have actually memorized. But maybe not, maybe yes, but overall, it is a milestone for me. It's a huge accomplishment. Like, seriously, out of everything what I've learned, like from high school or even uni, I know more about neuroscience now than anything.
That's funny.
Yeah, dude, it is really funny because what I do is that I don't just memorize like one topic. I have to review the old topics as well so that it's in my long term memory. You know, that's why it took me that long. Because else I could like memorize all of it, I know, within maybe 3 months, but I always have to go back to the old ones and then dude, the list goes like so freaking long. And yeah, that's why it took a lot of time. And I gotta say, I'm lucky in that sense that I have the time because um, even though I should have done the uni, I still have one subject left, right? And the report. I took all of that time to memorize Andrew Huberman stuff. That's why I say, like, it was kind of my side college, and you know, I received like student loans still. So I took all that time that I had for this, and yeah, I know it's weird what I do in a way. Like I'm studying business, but then I'm taking all the time to like learn neuroscience. I'm like, what is this guy doing, man? But I guess I'm weird that way.
No, that's all
Yeah,
right. It's like a passion project that's linked to education, right?
right.
So now that that's done, what's on your plate? Is it finishing that last course for your university degree?
Um, yeah, I had a plan for this semester, but I was still not done with Andrew Huberman, so I was like, I gotta prioritize on Andrew Huberman. like degree and Andrew Huberman. What is more important, Andrew? Yeah, that's why I don't know. Like for me, to be honest, Andrew Huberman, like with what I want to do in my life, I still find it really more important than the degree that I'm about to get because first, I don't really know um, if I'm going to use the degree, and I don't know if I mentioned this in the previous. I don't think I did, um, but yeah, I don't even know if I'm going to use the degree. Um, but back to your question, I will be doing it in April, May, because I didn't have a supervisor, which you should have, but now I have my two supervisors, so it's definitely gonna be done in April, May. Um, yeah, but at this point, I just want to have it done because yeah, it's kind of it still represents like this chain in a way, you know, in my life. It has been for a very long time. But and I even talked about, or I will be talking about this in my short story video. I've scripted. It's going to be a very long one, actually. It's one of my longest video, and it's basically my story from like 22 until now. So, but I tried to really summarize it, but still, it's like I don't know, 6 pages long or something.
Dang,
Um,
6 pages. Holy
yeah,
shit.
yeah, yeah. But again, it's with you know, B-roll and stuff because I don't only script words, I also script like you know, B-roll here and then what do I do there and this and that. But still, it's really one of my longest videos, and I'm not hoping to get any like huge views on this. This is really a personal thing, and what I share there is really very personal, and I know I'm quite scared to be you know talking about all of that what I'm about to you know release, but I still have to make the videos. I don't have the materials yet. I just finished scripting it yesterday, but yeah.
I
Damn, I
see.
feel like I was talking like very long there,
No,
like a
that's fine, man.
waterfall.
Go as long as you want. Go as long as you like. This podcast is about you guys, the guests. It's not about me.
Mm,
That's what my main channel is for. That's what I tell people too. Is that the purpose of my podcast is to kind of do something for others, with the whole intent is to try to promote other creators' work, promote other people's channel that I find interesting, other individuals that I enjoy talking to, because it's sort of like gives me a lane of content creation that is selfless. Whereas for my own personal channel, it's all about me. It's like what I'm doing, what I think, my beliefs, my perspective, me, what Derek thinks, and the camera's on me. And so it's very egocentric, I feel like. And then I wanted to do something a little bit more selfless, which is part of the reason why I have the podcast. And I started a second YouTube channel where I just share all like my analytical knowledge. It's just sort of like something that I wish I knew when I was starting off on YouTube, like trying to figure out what click-through rate is, average view duration, what is RPM, what's CPM, how much money can you make, like that type of stuff, right? And so what's interesting about doing all of this type of selfless content is that it's very enjoyable for me, and there's no stress. Like with my main channel, there's so much stress and sometimes even anxiety with the expectation to perform well analytically. Whereas a podcast, I just feel free. It's chill. There's no pressure. We can talk about whatever. If like I mess up or misspeak, I don't really care because this is just what it is, right? And so I really enjoy these type of conversations. And also, it's just like a way that if I can get more eyeballs, even if it's only like 10 or like one more subscriber to a creator that I enjoy, then it'll be worth it for me, and it makes me feel good on the inside, right?
Oh, well, thank you, man. Like, thank you for what you do, bro. Like, yeah, showing the awesomeness of other content creators. Yeah. So, but also the conversation that we have, and yeah, it's amazing. I always thank I don't know, maybe universe for this, like attracting the right people into my life, like you or all of my good friends that I have. But I know I always think like maybe I did something good in my last life that I have like good people, around me, or like-minded people, like you, even though we're not in touch that often. But when we talk, it's like, you know what? It doesn't matter if we haven't been in touch for a while. We just like continue from where we left off, and that is what's amazing. Yeah.
Hmm. That's interesting. Do you believe that you had a past life?
Um. Oh man, it's I am in the middle. Like I don't know
Mm.
whether to believe it or not. But yeah, I think there exists some supernatural things, whether that be past lives or like future lives. I don't know, like or reincarnations and stuff. I'm open to it. I cannot say no because where's the proof that that it doesn't exist? But I can't say that it does exist because I haven't experienced it. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, because I know you're way more spiritual than I am. Because I am more agnostic. I guess that's my personal belief. I'm not atheist, but I'm pretty agnostic when it comes to a lot of this stuff. Because it's
Right.
like there's no tangible proof for everything. It's just your own faith, your own belief, what you think the universe is, what you think reincarnation is, or if you had a past life. But I've slowly been turning to the other side.
Because of
And
psychedelics.
yeah, and it's because of psychedelics. I've had some trips recently that were really strong. And for anyone that doesn't know, whenever you do psychedelic mushrooms and you ingest psilocybin on the higher dosage side, we're talking like 4,000, 5,000 milligrams. Not only do you hallucinate visually and auditorily, is that a word? Auditorily, but you see these beings, these like deities, these gods, and you have conversations with them. But what I find very fascinating is that because you are under the influence of the psychedelic, in the moment, you have no idea what's happening isn't quote unquote real, but the way that your body and your brain reacts is as it's as if you're talking to a god. You can't tell the difference. It's like, oh my god. Like if Jesus came down from the sky, your body would react in the same way. And this is what happens on a psychedelic trip. You don't know that it's not really happening, but your body and mind still reacts in that way. But then when the trip ends, I'm like, oh my gosh, I just talked to like some kind of mountain god. Like this is insanity. And so sometimes I wonder, like, what is spirituality? Like, what is religion? What is
Right.
belief? Right? And I've never had anything tangible to hold on to, or to be like, I believe in this because of this item or this thing. Right? Like, people believe in the Quran or the Bible or some type of scrolls or scriptures or whatever. But for me, it's like, because I latch on to this tangible mushroom, this little fungi that grows in nature, this allows me to have these incredible experiences. So I am slowly but surely becoming less agnostic as the days go by. But I find it very interesting now because I kind of understand people more who are very spiritual, who have a lot of beliefs, who believe in theology or who believe in God. It's like now I kind of get it. Whereas before I'm like, this is all bullshit. What are you guys like? What are you guys talking about? Like, what? So I'm, I guess my perspective is slowly shifting, and to be honest, I find it very very fascinating. So I don't know how you feel about that.
Um, yeah, psychedelics is truly something special. I mean, uh, I haven't had 5 grams. I think I did 3.5, but that was like in tea. So I didn't like take them like that.
And that
But
still works. It still works in tea. Yeah.
yeah, it does. But I didn't. It wasn't that strong, I suppose. The strongest that I had was actually in Thailand, but that was only 2 gram. Um, but that wasn't too good. I would say like half of it was kind of like a bad trip. But that was strong as hell. I was like, I was like on the balcony, and wow, the colors were so vivid, and I felt like the time stopped, and like you hear you hear the colors, and like the time. I don't know how to explain, but everything like kind of stopped, and everything was morphing. And I looked at my friend, uh, and holy cow, that was scary. Like her eyes were like getting bigger, and like, oh wow, yeah, no, that was kind of a mistake. Do not look at people's faces. I know. Was it also with you, like on the trip that you had?
With faces, that's a good
Yeah.
question. I don't think so.
No.
Because I've had trips with people, but
Hmm.
I've been so distracted by my surroundings. I don't remember ever looking at someone eye to eye or looking at someone's face. Because most times I either do it outside or where I'm sitting right here. And when I'm sitting in my office, the one common theme is like objects that exist become three-dimensional, or like my paintings behind me, right? Like these paintings, they'll start coming out of the canvas. It's a very common hallucination. I'll see this light starts turning into like a rainbow or like a solar system or something, like a bunch of
Nice.
stuff like that. But I don't recall ever looking at someone's face per se, and maybe I should do that next time.
Beware. um, Yeah, but next time when you do, I don't know how you go about it, but do you actually set an intention before you actually take those mushrooms, or are you like, you know what, whatever happens, happens?
No, I'm very intentional.
Right.
I've had bad trips when I haven't been intentional. And so there's like this common saying called set and setting, right? Your mindset and your setting, which is your environment. And so you want to have the proper mindset going into the trip, and you want to do it in an environment where you can be at peace, where you can be where you can be comfortable and there's no anxiety. So for example, my office down here in my basement, it's very comfortable. It brings me peace. I feel very secure and safe. And then before going on a trip, there's always a purpose, right? Like people think that psychedelic mushrooms are a recreational drug. You take it to get high, you have a lot of fun, you see a bunch of things. Sure, if that's your intent. However, if you go into the trip with the right mindset of I want to uncover some dark truths about myself. I want to uncover or unravel some of my personal biases or my prejudices that I have against certain things or negative thoughts that I don't feel are correct. And the mushrooms will make you confront those things. And so that is usually my intent. Now, there have been a couple of trips where my intent was just for fun. Like on YouTube, we had a live stream with a bunch of the subscribers and we just did mushrooms like for just pure fun, right? And I was streaming it and it was getting pretty crazy. But other than that, um, yeah, no, that's probably a mistake because then I get flagged by YouTube and I get
Right.
demonetized all the time. I think like yesterday I got like 11 messages from YouTube. Like, oh, you demonetized, flag for this, flag for that. I keep getting flagged for everything. It's so bad. Yeah, quick note: if you want to make YouTube videos about psychedelics, you'll probably get demonetized like me.
Oh man, that's funny. Like psychedelics and live streaming. I tried. I know how is it like watching or looking at the screen when you're like on mushrooms and when you're high.
The screen's okay. It's the light.
Right.
Like behind my camera, there's like a giant light, right? And that it gets too bright and it becomes a massive distraction. I think that's my problem. Like, but if you turn off the light, then the picture quality looks like garbage, right? So yeah, that was a problem that I had.
You put on sunglasses. Oh man, that's funny.
Yeah, it's funny because the subscribers they really enjoyed it. They're
Yeah,
like, yeah, let's do it
I
again.
bet.
Let's do it every like milestone. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, I don't know, man.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
Yeah, so
Oh
this is my
well.
new niche. It's my new niche now, I guess you could say.
Yeah, psychedelics and gambling, right? You kind of took a turn there, to like psychedelics and gambling.
Yeah, so the gambling thing is interesting because I have a ton of personal experience with gambling, right? Like
Yeah,
I don't know, I'm sure you know the story or don't know the story or whatever, but like I played poker for many, many years of my life, right? That was like my entire 20s. I was in the trenches, on the bus at 4 a.m., going to casinos all over the world, Canada, US, um, Bahamas, bunch of places. And I love to gamble, and I still love to gamble to this day. I'll gamble with my friends, gamble with my brother, my dad, whatever. But I made one YouTube video many years ago about this subject, and it was just like a one-off. I'm like, okay, I'm going to make this one piece about this topic that I know a lot about. I think it was like a 16-minute video. I just made it information dense, and then I'm like, that's it. Like, I'm just going to be done with it. But then that video garnered a lot of attention, and it gained a lot of views. And what happened is I got all these comments and specifically emails from people saying like, "Hey man, I'm in massive debt. I gambled away my kids' education fund. My wife left me. I defaulted on my mortgage. I'm home." Like all these crazy stories about people with these horrible gambling addictions. And they're like, "Oh, your video really helped me to change my life around." And I was like, "Oh, okay, that's pretty cool." I emailed them back, "Thanks for telling me your story." But then the emails kept coming and more people kept reaching out to me, and I'm like, wow, what is going on? And then there's this common trend where they would ask me, can you make more videos about your gambling addiction? And I was like, I'm like, I don't want to do that. I'm like, I'm into like the self-improvement sort of space. I'm into self-improvement and psychedelics and meditation, and I'm like, that's what I'm into. I'm not into talking about my gambling stuff, right? And it's a hard thing to admit too. Like you want to admit to the world that you have like a gambling problem. Like my friends, my family will see it. They're probably gonna think I'm like a loser, right? Like, what the hell is Derek doing? He's bad with money. He's gambling away his future. And so for the longest time, I resisted. I didn't want to make any more videos about it. But then one day, there was a week I distinctly remember where I was running out of ideas for content. I did meditation, I did cold showers, I talked about kiwis, my morning routine, my fasting, like all those topics, right? I covered everything. And I was like, I was running out of things to talk about. And I was like, okay, you know what? Let's make let's just make a random video about like some gambling story that I had, and I posted it, and it instantaneously was picked up by the algorithm. And again, I got a flood of messages and emails from people. And
Interesting.
then I was thinking like should I do more of this because it's helping people, even though it's not as enjoyable for me? Because this isn't something that I love to talk about all the time. Right? There's only so much you can say, right? There's only so many anecdotal stories and life experiences that I have. But because the response was so strong from people, they're like, please do more of this. Please, this is really helping me. Please, please, like your videos are so beneficial to me. I was like, I felt almost obligated to make more of them. And that's where this whole shift kind of started to happen. I think it was in late 2022, near the end of last year. It was somewhere in 2022 when this stuff started to happen. And yeah, so I've just been going with it. As long as people keep requesting more content in this lane, then I'm just going to keep doing it. Like yesterday, I posted another video talking about I almost relapsed last week.
Yeah,
And
I
again,
watched that
right
one.
away, yeah, like all these comments, messages from people, it's like I've hit a nerve, or I've hit something. Like I've reached a target audience on YouTube in this sort of like gambling niche. And what a lot of people tell me is that there's not many content creators talking about this stuff, right? The gambling niche on YouTube, it's like, oh, hey, watch me on Twitch. I'm playing live blackjack and winning money. Oh, hey, watch me bet money on the soccer game or basketball game. Or oh, I'm playing FanDuel. This is how you increase your. Like, it's all about winning money, and it's not ever talking about the dangers of the addiction, right? And so that's why I guess I've found this temporary success with this minority group of people who are demanding this type of content.
Yeah, no, it's great, man. When I looked at your channel and saw that you're heading towards the gambling route and gambling addiction route, I was like, yeah, you're onto something here. Like it is like your thing, you know. And I think even if they're not a lot of people. I don't know because you get all of the emails. Maybe it's like really a lot, but what I mean with a lot is like millions. But they say like you only need 1,000 true fans, you know. So yeah, I think you hit a spot there, bro. Which
Yeah,
is a good thing.
it's just tough because the way that I think about it, there's only so much. Like I made a video, it's long, and it's like how to quit gambling. Okay, I'm gonna put everything in this video, all the tips, strategies, and ideas that you can use, and I just direct people. Like, okay, hey, you saw this video, you enjoyed it. Hey, check out this. I put all my information into this one, and I thought that it would end there. And they're like, oh, perfect, I love the video. Are you gonna make more? And I'm like, more of what? I put all my info into this one, like I think it's like 20 minutes long, right? I put everything into this. This is all you need. You just need this one. But there's still this demand for more, right? So that's why I feel kind of obligated to keep going. And so what I did is I pivoted, and I've sort of been reading stories of other people, right? And sharing their stories and kind of like reacting to them per se. So I'm going to do a little bit of that for now. But I told people like this is not going to be a 100% gambling channel. This is not what this is. I still have this, like my passion for psychedelics and self improvement is stronger than this gambling stuff. I'm only doing the gambling because it's helping. It's helping people, right? And so I'll continue doing it for that reason. Whereas the psychedelic stuff, that's what gives me fulfillment. Right? That's what makes me
Right.
happy, right? That's what I really love. I love editing those videos. I love talking about those videos. I'm enthusiastic about it, right? And I'm sure you can relate to that sentiment.
Yeah, of course. I mean, last time we talked, you were more into talking heads rather than visual storytelling. Has that changed now, or what's your thought on that?
Oh, I've doubled down that route. So in the past, I used to plan out all my YouTube videos. I would script everything paragraph for paragraph, line for like you were talking about. I'd list out the B-roll. I would take my camera, go out and get my B-roll shots, right? And then by doing this podcast and doing the live streams, I kind of inadvertently developed this ability to rant Where now all of my YouTube videos, there's no script. There's nothing. I just set up my camera on a tripod. I get the microphone as close to my face as I can. I hit record and I just go, right? And so what this has done is it's sort of made this a lot more authentic version of myself. And it's funny because all of my scripted, well produced videos that took like 30, 35 hours to edit and film and all this stuff, they do so poorly algorithmically. And then I'll make this talking head video that I'll record in one shot, maybe it takes like 20 minutes. And I'll cut like, I don't know, 6 or 7 minutes out of rambling or dead air. And that does so much better. Like the reception I get from people is like, oh, this video is so authentic. I love this so much more. And so then I'm like, oh man, my videography skills or passion is sort of like useless. No one wants to see that stuff, right? So I've kind of doubled down on the no scripted, the unscripted, unfiltered content because it's also allowed me to post a lot more often. Like I can churn out videos really quickly now. Like I'll do a podcast. I have one on the analytics channel every Friday, and on my main channel, like sometimes 2 videos in 1 week, right? Whereas before, I could do one video in like 2 3 weeks. Like you know what it's like scripting and writing everything out. It's very time consuming, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, that's very interesting. And so, are you still passionate about scripting things and everything, or is that not really your thing anymore?
So I do zero scripting now, but I'm still passionate about writing. So I do write, like, I have like these creative writing sessions where I just jot down my ideas in a Google Doc. But I also have my newsletter, right? So I'm still writing, but it's like a different kind of writing. Whereas before, I'd wake up, get a coffee. I'm like, okay, we're gonna make a video about cold showers. It's like, bam, introduction, writing the intro. Okay, what's the hook? Writing the hook. Okay, what's the body of the video? Then writing out the body and then planning everything out. What's the B-roll shots? What music am I going to use? What transition? That style of writing is completely gone. It's something that I don't even do anymore.
Right.
I miss it a little bit because I like that whole creative process, but also now I have 2 kids. It's not just one anymore. I have two,
Yeah.
and time, man, like especially with children, time is so limiting, and
I bet.
so I feel like doubling down on this like authentic version of myself is the best use of my time because also I don't really care about like hateful YouTube comments or I don't care about criticisms from people who think I mess up or I'm pretty good at that stuff. I know a lot of people that struggle with negative feedback. Whereas I'm so old, I'm just like dude, I don't care. I'm almost 40. You want to hate, go ahead. It doesn't bother me. Like I don't give a shit, right? You know what I mean? So that's sort of the reasoning for it.
That statement, man. I'm so old. Bro, you're not old, man. You crazy? You're old
Gonna
when
be
you're like
40 soon, bro.
bro, come on. That's like middle aged, man. That's not old. Old is like 70. When you're 70, then you can call yourself old, man.
I feel old because whenever I have people on the podcast, I go, how old are you? Oh, 21, 22. The last guy, Nicolaj, he's like 18. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like more than double your age. Like when I was 18, you weren't even born, dude. So I think that's why I feel old. All you young guys on YouTube. Because YouTube's a young person's game, right?
Right, right. Well, I don't know if that's true. But I get your point there. Yeah.
Or like the majority of creators, right?
Right, right. No, but yeah, I find it funny how you said it. Yeah, I'm old, bruh. Oh man, dude, I have a question because last time you showed me your goals. You had like your journal and you had like goals for
Mm-hmm.
2022, and yeah, you said 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, make $5,000 per month, full time YouTube, 2 podcasts per month, create video for what Buffer Festival Buffer I
Mm-hmm.
know,
Yeah.
um, and work out daily and meditate daily. So I want to ask you like which ones you accomplished and the ones that you haven't accomplished, how do you feel about that?
So I've accomplished half of those goals.
Hmm.
And what's funny is the ones that I didn't accomplish, I've doubled or even 10x the goals that I have for them. So, say for the
Interesting.
subscriber goal was I wanted to get 100,000 subscribers, which is that stupid silver plaque, right? Now my goal is I want to get to a point where I have the capacity to get to a million. So whenever I think about YouTube, whenever I post a video, make a thumbnail, I'm like, is this worthy, or does this have the potential of garnering a channel worthy of a million subscribers in terms of audience? So that's the way I think of subscriber goals. The number is like whatever, it's just a metric. It doesn't really mean too much. But just having this thought of like, is this video worth a million subscribers? Like, is it worthy of it? Did I put enough time into the thumbnail? Did I think clearly about the title? Like is it worthy of that? So that is my subscriber goal. The monetary goal, it was 5,000. Now it's like 20,000. I'm trying to work towards. So my business has expanded. I am getting demonetized on YouTube, so the AdSense, it's not the best. But I have some other kind of freelancing side jobs, so I've diversified my kind of portfolio per se. A lot of the income, it's really small, so I still have a day job. So I'm nowhere. I'm not even close to 20,000 a month. But again, am I putting in effort? Am I taking the proper steps in terms of progressing to be worthy of making $20,000 a month? And my answer to that is yes. I believe, in my honest opinion, that I am putting in the right amount of effort to get to that. Now, in terms of the other goals, the Buffer Festival video, that is a film festival in Toronto that happens every year. It's actually coming up soon. So last year, I created a video for Buffer and I submitted it, and I unfortunately didn't get selected, which was fine. I was a little disappointed because I put so much time and effort into it.
Mm.
I went to the festival and they told me that they didn't select my piece, which is okay. And I put it on YouTube. It's on my channel, and then it did shit. It did like no views. I'm like, okay, maybe it sucks, right? So that goal, I guess the goal realistically was to be selected for Buffer. So in terms of that goal, I failed, but I'm content with that. I at least tried. I tried my best. I took my best shot in terms of videography, filmmaking type of stuff, and I wasn't successful. Now this year, I'm probably not going to submit again, just because like time restraint, and where I'm more focused on other stuff. I don't want to put in another like 100 hours into like a 4-minute cinematic video. It doesn't get selected, then on YouTube it gets like 200 views. If it's like it's a massive time investment, right, to make like a video worthy for a festival, right? So that's that. And then in terms of the other goals of meditation, other one was it fitness or working out?
Yeah, workout daily. Yeah.
Yeah, so the workout daily has shrunk significantly. I used to work out about 45 minutes to an hour every single day. And with the birth of my son, I take care of him at night and in the mornings. Like even today, like we were up at 4 a.m. I slept like maybe 4 hours from midnight to 4. Because
Crazy.
when you have an infant, they wake up, right? They cry, they need milk, diaper, like there's this whole ordeal.
Mm.
So my workouts have significantly diminished to just like body weight squats, push ups, and like pull ups in my basement. Like very simple. I don't even go into my garage anymore where I have my home gym. So in terms of my workouts, I'm definitely failing on that. And the meditation sessions, it's always the same. I do like maybe 5 minutes in the morning here or there, and that's about it. It's like this time restraint thing where I have peace of mind. I'm gonna relax, close my eyes, meditate. Then all of a sudden, Dada! Like someone's screaming at me from up. You know what I mean? So it's
All right.
it's like it's tough. I'm playing this
Right.
time juggling game, right? Because not only am I juggling like two kids, stuff around the house, my day job, the YouTube stuff, like there's just a lot going on. So yeah, so those goals, I could safely say that I probably failed as well. So a lot of failures.
Well, bro, it's not really failures. I mean, I wouldn't consider them as failures. The I think the effort and trying it, that is what matters more, in my opinion. Like even if you set it like 10x, um, but like you said, if you believe that it's worthy, then that is what counts, right?
Hmm. Yeah, because the actual number, it's sort of irrelevant. Like, okay, I want to make 5 grand a month. Okay, you can think that, you can wish that all day long, but are you putting in the effort and work that is worthy of making 5 grand? That's the important thing, right? And so I think even though I haven't reached that level of monetary success yet, I believe that I am putting in the right amount of work in that direction, right? And at least for me, as long as I'm progressing, as long as I'm moving forward, and I can just like keep going, then hopefully I'll get there eventually.
Mm. Yeah, that's a key takeaway. For me, because it's not, like you said, it's not only about writing the goals down, but actually, feeling and believing that you're worthy of it. Are you doing and yeah, align yourself to the goal. Yeah, I think that is a very interesting perspective. Yeah,
Yeah,
interesting.
it's good to have, right? And I always like to set. It seems a little unrealistic because I have really high goals and standards for myself, but because I set these high goals, it makes me think about what I'm doing. Like, say if my goal was just 10,000 subscribers, you think I'd be putting in the same amount of effort? No, right? Because the bar is so much lower. Oh yeah, 10,000 subs, I can just post a video every 2 weeks. I'll get there eventually, maybe in 5 years or something. But if the goal is a million, right? How good is the thumbnail? How good is the click through rate? The average view duration? Are you on niche? How many videos are you posting? Are you replying to comments? Like, are you deep diving into your analytics? Are you improving? Are you getting better? Like what? Like all these other questions come up when you have goals that are this much higher because as a person, it's just not realistic to achieve like these astronomical goals if you just aren't putting in the work, right? You have to put in the work at the end of the day because you can believe stuff all day long, right? But unless you hit the grindstone, and get that blacksmith hammer and start sharpening that blade, like nothing is going to happen, right? And so every time that I've set really high goals, it's really helped me focus and giving me this perspective where, okay, let's say I want to get like super fit or in shape. It makes me think about, okay, what am I eating? Am I eating late? What am I drinking? What type of snacks do I have? Do I really need this extra meal after lunch? Right? Do I really need to go to this barbecue or have a third slice of pizza when two might be enough? You know what I mean? These other questions pop up in my mind when I have these really high goals. Whereas before, when I set the bar way too low, my effort matched the expectations that I had for myself. So by raising the bar super, super high, now my effort matches those high expectations.
Hmm. Yeah, it's very very interesting.
Or maybe
Yeah.
I'm just crazy. Who knows? People tell me
or,
I need to
or maybe
chill. I don't
that,
have
bro.
work life balance.
Yeah, you gotta be a little bit crazy, right?
Well, that's a criticism I get a lot. Is that I don't have any work life balance. I don't have any side hobbies, or I don't watch any Netflix, or I get this criticism a lot from friends, family, and people. But what I try to tell them is that I love like this whole business that I'm in. When I have a vacation day from work, I don't want to just chill and watch, I don't know, whatever show is on Netflix. Or I don't want to, watch the Super Bowl or the World Cup or the basketball game. Like when I have a day off, I want to do business because this is what I love. And because what I do seems like work to other people, they think that I need some type of work life balance, and work life balance is lacking in my life when it's not. I am totally fulfilled with the work that I do. I love it. Like I love waking up and I'm like, YouTube analytics, how are we doing? Click through rate, average view duration, the swipe through rate for the swiped away metric for shorts. Like what's going on? That gives me like that energy, that happiness, right? And so that is something that unfortunately you have to kind of ignore, right? Because people always have their own opinions of you, of your channel, of your university, or of your Andrew Huberman studies. People always have whatever opinion, but they don't know how you feel about the work that you're doing, right? Like no one knows. Like to me, the Andrew Huberman stuff, I'm like, what are you doing, bro? Like I watch a couple of his videos, I take the information, and then I run. I can't be bothered memorizing a bunch of his stuff, but I don't understand how you feel in the moment. It brings you that happiness. I could see the smile on your face, and you talk about, yeah, last week I finished, all my memorization of
Yeah,
Andrew Huberman's work, and I saw that happiness and fulfillment in you, and other people can't see that, right?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, passion is something definitely uh, something that only you can understand. When you do it, and it doesn't feel like work. It feels like fulfillment, like with you. Like you wake up and you're like ready to rock this, and you're also quite analytical, right? Are you
With like YouTube stuff or just in general?
just in general?
Yeah, I'm like a math nerd. Like I went to university for computer science. I love math. I have love statistics. Like I've always loved that type of stuff. Like one of my side businesses is managing YouTube channels and deep diving into their analytics and giving them a plan of attack of what to do. So I have like a client, a friend. He has a channel, has like a ton of subscribers. It's kind of dead. He didn't post for like 2 months almost. And I'm like, I went in. I'm like, I gave him a proposal. Let me go through your channel for like 2 weeks. I'll give you a guide on what to do, how we can revive it, how to improve your CPM, RPM, click through rates, average view duration, all that stuff, and follow it. So we did that, and he was losing like 30 subscribers every month. And we flipped it. Last month, he gained 31 subs. This month, he's going to gain about 100. And we've kind of revived his whole channel. And it's because of this like information dense analytical dive that I love to do. So this is like a sort of a side business that I am working on where I want to manage some YouTube accounts in the future. I'm kind of just like working on it. Again, I don't know exactly how to do it, but I'm learning, right? But that's where I get all this like analytical love for.
Right. Yeah, interesting. Very analytical guy. Has it like always been that way, or has it like developed like from YouTube?
No, I think it's always been that way. It's funny because I was always a numbers and math person. I
Okay.
was never a creative person. Like I never liked writing or English or photography. I never liked any of this stuff. Everything I loved was mathematical based. But then as I age, it's sort of inversed, where now I love everything creative. But I still have that foundation of analytical knowledge from when I was a kid. I'm pretty good with numbers and statistics, right? And so I sort of still have that in me, type of thing, right? So that's sort of where all of this stems from.
Right. Huh, interesting. Yeah,
How
like
about you? Are you more analytical or more like creative or?
I'm probably in the middle. I'm definitely very analytical about myself, um, but I'm also analytical about other things. I suppose. Um, yeah, I guess I'm kind of in the middle. Yeah, but like what is very interesting to me is that each year um, you kind of change your mind on something. I suppose.
Mm.
Um, what did you change your mind on? Is there something that you changed your mind on?
Oh man, I'm not entirely sure. I have been in the past. I was very into the whole. I guess you would maybe call it mindfulness, meditation, gratitude journaling sort of space. Um, I've sort of done that a little bit less. I don't know if you consider that as changing your mind, but yeah, a lot of my foundational beliefs are pretty much the same. Maybe the biggest thing that I've changed my mind on, again, and we talked about this earlier, was the spirituality stuff. I think that's the biggest change that I've gone through these past couple of years. All of my other beliefs are pretty rigid. They're kind of the same. I lean one way or another, but the whole spirituality stuff, I went from pretty much a zero to now I'm like somewhere like maybe in the middle, maybe 50 out of 100 or something like that. Maybe if there's a scale, I'm somewhere around there. yeah, that's probably the biggest change that I've gone through.
Mm. Power of psychedelics.
It sucks that they're illegal, bro. It's
Yeah.
unfortunate, right?
Yep. That is true. Um, have you actually you've only taken mushrooms, right? Not LSD or anything like that.
No, no, that's haven't see. This is the thing with LSD, which is acid, right? It's do you trust the source?
Mm,
Where is that coming from? When you, I've seen like you. I don't know if you ever had it, but there's those little squares on those
mm,
tabs, right? And I'm like, who made that? Like, who dripped the drop of acid? Like, where did you get that? Was that made in the lab? Like, how, I can't trust the source. But a mushroom, there's a stem, there's a cap. It looks like a mushroom. It feels like a mushroom. I know what a mushroom is, so I feel comfortable with that. Whereas the mushrooms that come in capsules, maybe they come pre-baked in chocolate. Chocolate, I'm a little weary of because I'm like, what did you put in that capsule? Is that a bunch of wood? They just shave a bunch of wood and you know what I mean? Like you don't know what's in that
yeah.
capsule. But when you
Right.
have an
Right.
actual stem and a mushroom cap, you can see it physically. So then I've been very comfortable with mushrooms. But any other drugs, I'm extremely wary of because I just can't trust the source. And there's this whole like fentanyl outbreak that's raging across the United States and North America. And it's scary, right? It's incredibly scary. But I'm so comfortable with mushrooms just because you can see it. You can
Yeah.
pick it up. It looks like a mushroom. It tastes like a mushroom, which is disgusting. It's horrible. And yeah, that's just what it is.
Apparently, I've heard from a friend. There's like a chocolate mushroom. I've never tasted it, but sounds yummy.
Yeah,
Because yeah,
those are popular.
oh really? Oh okay.
Yeah, those mushroom bars, I've never tried them. I've never tried them though.
Okay. Yeah. Because the mushrooms themselves they taste pretty, yeah, disgusting.
Yeah, they're terrible, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like,
Very. Yeah, I always have to. I don't know. Eat like I don't know cookie or something with it. You know. To
mhm.
yeah, man. You're not doing because I think last time we also talked about TikTok a bit, and you said that you don't like it. I guess you still don't like it.
Mhm. So that is,
Still the same.
see, that's one of my core beliefs. Is that
Right.
I think TikTok is the stupidest thing in the entire world. It is just, it is instant gratification at its finest, right?
Yeah.
And whenever I go on TikTok, it's either prank videos, people hurting themselves,
Mm,
dancing video. Like it's just foolishness. It's just entertainment. That's what it is. It's instant gratification. And it's just
mm,
dopamine hit after dopamine hit after dopamine hit. And I know as an entrepreneur, as a YouTuber, if you make YouTube shorts, you want to throw it on shorts, you want to throw it on Instagram reels, you want to throw it on TikTok, you want to throw it on Facebook because you can just repurpose it everywhere. Where I'm like, no, I'm just not doing that.
mm,
YouTube in the shorts, there is a space where there's personal development. I've seen motivational speeches on YouTube shorts. Like there's not all dancing and nonsense, right? But TikTok is just a, it's like this abyss of stupidity, and I just hate it. I feel like it's so dumb, and I have this belief in the self improvement world where like you want to get off of instant gratification, like you want to get off of porn, right? You want to get off of TikTok or Instagram Reels. Like you want to get video games, Netflix, Disney Plus, whatever, PlayStation, Xbox, all these things just ruins people's lives. I think they're all just horrible. And so I'd be a complete hypocrite if I took my content and repurposed it onto TikTok. You know, I do have an account. I just deleted it. And I just said, forget all this. I know it's a poor business decision to make because I know a lot of people who have received a lot of brand deals and money through TikTok. You know, fair. No problem. I don't judge you at all. But for myself personally, with my own personal beliefs, if I say TikTok is awful, TikTok is evil, you should to get off TikTok, but then I use it, I'm just doing myself a disservice and I'm lying, right? So I just can't. I just can't. I can't do it, bro.
would have been even funnier if you like said all of those things and then posted like something on TikTok like right now. bro. Like last time, your hate was around here, bro. But now it's like it's way down there.
I'm a hater. I'm a hater, I guess.
No, it's you know, you have valid reasons. Yeah, I
Do
just
you
wanted
post
to
your shorts there?
no, not currently, but I was thinking of maybe like posting on TikTok. Yeah, for my now, and maybe just you know do doing some fun skits or funny skits again on Winnie, you know, because I haven't posted there in a while either. Just to kind of you know let my creativity flow, you know, but again, no promises. I don't know how it will go, but yeah, we'll see, we'll see on that. um, oh yeah, and last time you also said your one of your biggest goals is to get I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, Hamza, is that his name?
Hamza.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Is that still one of your goals?
Well, what was the goal?
You to get him on your podcast?
Uh yeah, I've been trying. I send him emails. He doesn't reply.
Right. Because he has a huge subscriber count right now, right? I think.
Yeah, he knows me. Well, not
Oh,
he
okay.
knows of me because in his
Yeah.
Discord, I made a video about him a while
Right.
ago,
Right.
and then he left a comment on the video, and then he pinned it in his Discord server.
Oh,
So if you go into Hamza's Discord server, he has this message. He's like, "Hey boys, look at this video that this 37-year-old man said about our movement." Right, and then so he knows of me, right? And
right,
so, and
right.
he's been to my channel. He's left me a comment. I've replied to him. I've sent him emails like, and I've sent him propositions like, "Hey, you want to come on my podcast?" No reply. I'm okay, fine. How about this? He has a podcast called the Fatherless Podcast, which he started with that guy Iman Gotzi, I think. Iman Gotzi was on
Oh,
episode 1 or whatever.
okay,
And
okay.
so right when he created that, I sent him another proposition like, "Hey, I would love to come on your fatherless podcast because the whole point is providing value for fatherless men. And me as a father, I can provide a lot of valuable information and mentorship when it comes to being a parent, especially because
Mm,
I have a son as well, right?" And so I was like, let's do the podcast. I'll edit it for you. I'll record it for you. I have everything. I have all the skills. I have the software that I pay for. I'll do it for you. And then again, no reply. And then he hasn't posted any more episodes on the podcast in like a year or something. So I am not giving up. He's on my list. I have this irrational list of people that I want to have on my podcast. It sounds stupid. You go through it, like Jordan Peterson is on it, and Ben Shapiro is on it, and Hamza is like it's this irrational list. But again, I set the bar so high, right? Like if I want to have these amazing guests on the podcast, like I'm gonna get after it, right? Like for example, another one is there's a couple guys in the self improvement space, Better Ideas, Captain Sinbad, Nathaniel Drew, Matt Diavella. Like there's a bunch of those guys, and they're on my list too. And again, I reached out to them, kind of like no reply. I had a conversation with Captain Sinbad for a while, but um, I actually got Nathaniel Drew's dad on the podcast, which was sort of interesting. So
okay.
I don't. It was like a long story, but we kind of connected, and I've been sort of friends with him, and we've had this like relationship as like father to father, kind of just talking. And we're at different stages in our lives because his kids are fully grown up, like they're like these successful YouTubers and stuff. But yeah, it's like setting the bar high, right? Set it so high and work towards that, and eventually, things will happen.
You're inspirational, bro. You're my inspiration, man.
See, one thing is that I think I do well is I don't get discouraged in failure, right? I will send someone an email. I don't get a reply. Someone blocks me. Or someone says something hateful. Someone shit talks me. Whatever. And are you affecting my life? Are you hurting my family? Am I not being able to pay my rent? No. So who gives a shit? Just on to the next thing, right? So that's like the mentality I have is to just keep throwing darts at the dartboard, right? If you never throw, then you're always going to fail. But if you just keep throwing, then maybe one day you're going to hit that bullseye, right? You just have to keep going. right? That's like the key to all this stuff, is just to keep going, just to keep like finding a way to improve just a little bit better, learn about something, right? Learn about a sales funnel, learn about a newsletter, a Squarespace website, I don't know, a separate YouTube channel, a Discord server, Riverside for a podcast. Like there's so many things you can learn, but it's again just not getting discouraged. And it's unfortunate because there's so many YouTubers that started around the time with me and you, and they've all quit, dude. This is one of the reasons why I like talking to you, because you're still around. There's like about 20 guys from like 2021, 2020 that I've had on the podcast, I've talked to, and then all of them have quit. There's just you and this other guy, John, this vegan guy who's super interesting. Only you two are still create content from when I started, and that guy Ryan Ing, but he is like kind of on a next level.
Right.
But yeah, it's like so many people give up, right? And
Yeah.
that's a huge mistake.
Yeah, man. Well, one thing that I can say for sure, and I said this the last time as well on my previous one, um, is that I will never quit YouTube, because it's just
Yes.
something. It's just something that is very very meaningful to me, you know. And the thing is, like, if you're passionate about it and you speak from the heart, you know, and obviously you have to improve your editing skill set and all of that, that is very logical. But if, like, you know, if you speak from your heart, you're authentic. Doesn't matter whether it's only talking head or with story form telling video, the format doesn't matter. But if it's from your heart and you're passionate about it, then there is no reason to quit. If you quit, then I think it's just because you're not truly passionate about it, you know. And that's also okay with the people who quit. That just means that they they don't prioritize on YouTube. That's also fine, you know. But this is just something, like, all of my years, since I started with YouTube, even though, and I said I will be talking about this in my storytelling video too, that even though I did jump around and all that, but from 22 onwards, it has been my world. You know, there's just something about it where when you talk into the camera, you feel like this is me. You know, this is where I belong. Um, and that's why I know that I won't quit. And the thing is, I even started like talking into a camera. I don't know, man, when I was 13 or something, like very very
Oh
young. I was,
wow.
yeah, and I was just talking into a camera, and I loved it. Like this feeling. I mean, I don't know if I've mentioned this, but I always wanted to be an actor. That's my first dream.
Oh
And
really? I
just,
never knew that.
no,
That's
oh, I
awesome.
didn't.
No, that's so
That,
cool. Yeah, right.
oh man, okay, I didn't talk about it. Okay, so yeah, that was, and it has always been in me and will always be in me, which is the actor kind of, Winnie. That's why I have many personalities that I could play. That's why Winnie, on TikTok. That's why it blew up, because of my, comedy, acting skills. I mean, I'm not a professional. That's not what I'm saying, but I'm just saying I'm passionate about it. And yeah, maybe we can talk about that in the next podcast. Yeah, I just want to say one thing though, because I see that you have 5 minutes left. I do look at the time, bro. Or else we would be talking like for another 2 hours. Like last time we were talking like 1.5 hours, and you're like, dude, we've been talking long enough now. No, that's what I mean. Like, if it goes buttery smooth, time just flows. Um, but yeah, one thing that I want to say is, and I will be mentioning this in my video as well, but I'm in a phase of my life where I do feel pretty scared, very scared actually, because I know everyone has their unique journey, but my journey is kind of in a way where I've, been living someone else's life since I was 22. And even though, yes, I did do make YouTube videos and Instagram and TikTok, and I gotta say, I'm also very lucky that, I received student loans, and because I received student loans, I had all of the time to do all of that. but I also had a depression phase and I procrastinated a lot. And I could have done really way more with the time. And now I am nearly turning 29, and the only experience that I got like work wise is dishwashing and working in a cabin. Although with the working in a cabin, I don't regret it because I did the Andrew Huberman stuff and I had all the time to memorize that. But still, it's part of my journey. I understand that, but it's still very scary. Um, I I did use the time to learn like editing skills or After Effects, and I learned a lot. And the thing is, knowledge is just potential power, right? It's not power; it's
Mm.
potential power. And so I have the potential, but I haven't applied it yet, you know. And this is the phase where I will literally just apply because I have learned a lot, you know, and it's scary because first of all, you know, with the age that I'm in, you should have like, you know, corporate experience and like maybe I don't know, bachelor's, masters, all that, and here I am, 29, you know, still wanting to be a full-time YouTuber and will never stop, but like no corporate like experience whatsoever, and did like dishwashing and cabin, yay, and it is scary, but again, I will explain it in my video because it would take me like I don't know half an hour to explain all of it. But I'm just gonna say I'm scared, but I will try my best to yeah make the best out of it because that's the only thing I can do. Um, yeah, I just wanted to share that because this is something that is in my heart. This is the phase that I'm in now, and yeah, it's scary. That's all that I can say. Yeah.
You know, man, that's so interesting. So are you born in 94?
Yes.
Okay, so we're exactly 10 years apart. So when I was 27, that's when I started working in the corporate world. And I had
Interesting.
like no job experience because of the gambling stuff. And I have no education. I don't have a college diploma or a university degree. I dropped out. And so like I completely understand that fear that you have because it
Interesting.
feels like everyone else is so much further in life, right? Where they maybe have a apartment, or maybe they have their own condo, they have a car, they have some corporate 9 to 5 job with benefits, and maybe they have a pension or some type of investment account, you know, and you see all your peers and friends, you know, successful. And that was me. Trust me, that was me when I was 27. And you're 29 right now?
Turning 29, yeah, in
Oh wait, your
November.
birthday is like November 1st, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah. So we're exactly 10 years in one day apart because my birthday is November 2nd.
Yeah, I remember.
So when I was your age, so when I was 20, yeah, so when I was 28 turning 29, I only had 1 year experience in the corporate world and I was only working part-time. And it was like you sort of feel like a loser. However, there's one thing that you'll have to your advantage is that you'll have nothing to lose in the corporate world. Whereas all your other peers or friends, they're going to be comfortable and they're going to be so adverse to taking risks. And I really noticed this when I started working. When I was like 27, 28, everyone was like stuck in their ways. No one wanted to try anything new. They did what worked. They just followed the rules. And you have this massive advantage where you can take a tremendous amount of risk because you don't have anything to lose. You don't have a 10-year job of like 10, 15 years seniority like these other people do. Like there was people I worked with, they were scared to voice their opinion because their corporation was, I don't know, liberal or something. And they didn't want to talk about some political issue or they didn't want to be sensitive to someone's gender, for example, right? And they didn't want to come on my podcast because they were afraid of what their work would think of them if they saw their opinions. Whereas for me, I had a huge advantage where I could take all this risk. I could do whatever I want. I could say whatever I want. I could start whatever business I want. I could do a stream, a podcast, YouTube, anything because I had nothing to lose. So it's not that again, it's tough because you're going to feel like you're at the bottom, but there are a plethora of advantages that you have when you are at the bottom. And I heard this from that guy Alex Hormozy, that super famous business guy. Is that like even when you're at the bottom, you have to recognize there are huge advantages that you have at the ground level that the CEO of the company doesn't have. He has shareholders, he has stock prices, he has chairman of the board, CEOs, investment bankers, or maybe senior managers that he has to answer to. There's all these expectations that he has, so maybe he can't take the amount of risk that someone in your position could. And so the mistake is not utilizing the advantage that you have at that age and focusing too much on the fear, right? Focusing too much on your disadvantage. And so that was one thing that really kind of propelled me sort of not through the ranks, but propelled me in my life. Whereas now I'm so happy that, when I did start at 27, I took all these crazy risks. So now I'm happy I have a channel. I'm grateful I have a podcast where we can have this conversation. I have all these other things going for me. Whereas if I finished university and I had that corporate 9 to 5, would I have started my YouTube channel? I don't know. Would I have started a podcast and shared my insight into all this, self improvement stuff? Maybe. Would I have done the live stream where I stream psychedelic mushrooms? Of course not. Right. So there's all these things that would not have happened if I had that stable corporate life. So you need to think of it through a different lens and figure out what are the advantages that you have in your current position, because you definitely have advantages.
Dude, thank you so much for those kind words, man. I truly appreciate it. It's always nice to hear it from someone else and who has similar journey and paths. And this is why, um, one of the reasons why, I'm not gonna quit YouTube, because I know that this is kind of my brand, or will be, which is the late bloomer. But
Mm.
I'm a late bloomer because of my circumstances. All of what I've experienced, has led me to a late bloomer. Because me, normally I'm not a late bloomer. I knew exactly what I wanted when I was 17. I said I wanted to be an actor. I told this to my mom. Jim Carrey was my, idol, and still is. Uh,
Hey.
and yeah, I was like super convinced this is what I want. But my mindset was very, very weak until, like, I don't know, 20, 25, 26. But yeah, and I found my world through YouTube. Just making videos, and I'm going to share my journey, everything, like how I feel, what led me to here, and the self-sabotaging behaviors, and low self-esteem, and everything that, that I went through. And I just hope that I can just, help just one person. Yeah, that would mean a lot to me. But yeah, you will definitely see, what I will be sharing. But still, thank you very much, man, for your kind words and for your perspective, and means a lot. Like when I heard that, like what you just said there, um, I know it just gave me like a smile in my heart, bro. You know, it's like, oh man, this is like so kind, and the fact that you have like kind of similar journey, and yeah, really, really. I'm like hugging you, like right
Through the
now,
lens.
bro. Yeah, through the lens, bro. Like seriously, I truly, truly appreciate it.
No,
Yeah.
it's hard, man, because trust me, I completely understand, right? Because I went through this tumultuous journey, this chaos in my life, right? I went through this hardship for many, many years, right? And I don't know if you had the same experience, but I went through so much criticism from my family, uncles, parents, brothers, friends, acquaintances. Everyone was just like, "What are you doing? Like, what is wrong with you? Like, you haven't done anything with your life. You didn't get your education. You don't have like a full time job. Like, what are you doing?" And there's so much like criticism that will get put on your shoulders, and it's an incredibly heavy burden to carry, right? But again, like the key here is that you can't let that weigh you down, right? If that negativity weighs you down, you'll never be able to get out of the mud, right? You just be spinning your wheels and you're just going to be stuck. You have to try to ignore all of that negative stuff as best you can, that chatter. Just put it out of your mind and figure out again, like, what can I do? Like, what is my advantage? What is my tactical advantage? What is my skill set that I can utilize? What is, you know, my goals or ambitions? Like, what can I use that other people can't do? Right. And you can like make something out of that, because even look at where you are now, right? 28, right? Turning 29. When I was in your position, I didn't even, I had my YouTube channel, but it was doing nothing. right? I wasn't even at that part where you are at now, right? I was still like lost. I was still completely lost. And it wasn't until I turned 35 that I figured things out. So if you're a late bloomer, I'm an incredibly late bloomer because it took me until 35, right?
Right.
So
Right.
think about that, right? I didn't figure out YouTube or cameras until I was 35. That's another 7 years for you from now. But you already have a clear goal like, hey, you want to do acting, you want to do YouTube, you love all this Andrew Huberman stuff. Like you have these clear hobbies or passions in your life that brings you happiness. And I can see that. And you talk about memorizing Andrew Huberman's work, and there's like this massive smile on your face. Like, I don't understand it, but I see it. I'm like, oh, that's amazing, right? So again, like you have an advantage right there. You have an ability to retain knowledge or information by studying things that I could never do. I can't do that, right? And you have to figure out, what skills you have that you can leverage, that you can apply to the goals that you have in life. And like the acting thing, like what do you want the acting to be part of the YouTube journey, or do you want it to be like a separate career? Like, like where do you want that to go?
Right. Um, yeah, the acting thing, it will definitely, I think, show up in my mind now in one way or another. Because if you have like an entertainment kind of aspect in your video, that is always good for the audience. Doesn't keeps the lighthearted. Probably will be like the Thai guy that I've incorporated in Winnie, as well, and he will be talking like in Thai accent. But yeah, I think I will incorporate him in one way or another, and I've already ideas and everything. And I mean, even though I'm scared, it's not that I'm scared and I don't know what to do. It's just the scary part is there because I think anything big that you want to accomplish, like being a full time YouTuber or whatever, it's always kind of scary. And yes, and being the late bloomer part and the criticism, bro, I will get that even you know after I have my degree, because they will be like, bro, you have like a degree and you're not gonna use it. Like what the what's going on there? But that could be like a good title for a YouTube video. I studied, got my college degree, and I didn't use it. They're like, oh my god, you didn't use your degree. No. But yeah, it's like an interesting. I feel like now is kind of like a new beginning for me, because even though I've accomplished this one goal with Andrew Huberman, which is great, but now I just need to apply the knowledge that I have. That's all that I can say. Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful, bro. That I'm glad to hear that you're not going to be quitting, and that you're going to keep going.
Oh
I
hell
love
no,
it. I love it. I
hell
love it.
no. Always, bro. I'm always gonna strive forward. Yeah.
All right, awesome. Let's wrap this thing up. I gotta book it out of here. Let's
All right,
tell the
brotherhead.
people where they can find your work: YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Like where can people find your stuff?
I'm just going to direct them to my YouTube channel, and then perhaps they can, go somewhere else from there onwards. So mine now is my YouTube channel, and yeah, that's
Okay,
pretty much it.
sounds good. I'll leave a link in the description to Winnie's YouTube channel. It's Mind Now. When I search it, when I search Mind Space Now, it doesn't
Yeah,
come up.
really interesting.
No, it doesn't. Like when I like I'm searching it right now, it doesn't come up. But when
Okay.
I search Mind Now as one word, then you come up as like the second channel.
Hmm.
But it's so dumb. The first Mind Now channel that comes up has 7 subscribers. So why does
Interesting.
his come up before yours? That doesn't make any sense. That's so
Yeah.
dumb.
Oh, yeah. That is weird.
Yeah, but
That is
anyways,
weird.
I'll leave a link in the description for
Right.
everyone that's watching the podcast or listening on Apple, Google, or Spotify. Check Winnie's channel out. I highly recommend it, and I'm glad that you came on and we had this conversation, bro.
Bro, till next time, man. Like 1 year from now.
Yeah, we'll do it next year, 2024. We'll
Hell
do
yeah.
podcast number 4.
That was a pleasure, bro. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, anytime, dude. All right, guys. See you next time. Peace. Peace.